Book Dragons, I am back. I just want to do a quick wrap up because March has not been my month. I will say that I had a death in the family, which hit us all pretty hard. It was expected, but still sad. So we're still kind of going through that, but I have a feeling the second half of the month will be a little bit better reading wise. I feel my focus coming back, and yeah, but it's been hard. So, but I did wind up reading some things. I wound up reading 6 books. I am in the middle of Realmathon, and if I remember, I will tell you why I picked the books up and why I didn't pick the books up. But the first book or why I just felt like reading it. The first book I read was a carryover from the month before, and it was Bride by Ali Hazelwood. And this is a book that I've seen so many conflicting reports about. So of course I had to read it myself, and I gave it 4 stars. But let's attach a photo. This for me was a fun read. Like, I enjoyed it. I love the werewolf and the vampire fall in love. I love that there was like a mystery element kind of pushing me through the story. I had a super fun time with it. The nodding scene did not bother me. I just had fun. I thought the characters were fun. I liked that even though it was in Misery's point of view, you did get the other character, like the male point of view throughout the story. There was also a little kid character that I absolutely loved. So I gave it 4 stars. I've loved Ellie. I think I've loved Ellie Hazelwood's non-traditional stuff a bit more. Like, I liked her YA book a lot. I like this a lot. I gave The Love Hypothesis 4 stars. So I've been having a fun time. Definitely want to read this, like the companion book in the series, because that character was really exciting towards the end. So there better be another one coming. But I gave it 4 stars. And I'll do my stats at the end because I totally forgot to do stats. Yeah, I forgot to do that. All right, that's okay. I will do stats at the end now that I remember that I have to do that. Sorry, as I said, I'm a little bit out of sorts. But I'm on the mend. The next book that I read was Of Dreams and Destiny by Sanaya Manan. A very, very blue cover, and it is set at the school, and it is like the last book in a series, so this is me completing the series. I don't think she's gonna write any more in this series. I enjoyed this. I only gave it 3 stars, and I think it just suffered a little bit from like direction. Like, it basically follows Dee, who you've seen in the other 2 books, and a new character comes to school, and they kind of have to deal with a snowstorm that's kind of making everyone fall asleep. And it was definitely insta-love to me. It didn't have a lot of connection. I didn't feel that connected to the characters. So I only gave it 3 stars, but I really read it because it was a mostly blue, it was a completely blue cover, and it had a school setting. I don't have a ton of those on my TBR. And I wanted to wrap up the series because I've been not doing that hot at this. So it was a fun read. I just think out of the whole series that I read, it was also really, really short. I felt like if you were going to do a story like this, it had to be a little bit rushed out, or fleshed out a bit more, but I did give it 3 stars. And then the next book that I picked up was another book that I was really excited for, and that is The Mystery Guest by Nita Prose. I actually listened to this book, and I'm so happy that I did, because I had such a fun time with this. This is the second book in the Molly the Maid series, and it's actually set like a couple of years into the future after the events of book 1. And I like that because you could see how Molly has grown. And this book had less found family in it. That's the only critique I would give. But basically, there's a murder of a famous author at the hotel, and Molly's kind of sucked up into it because one of her prodigies is kind of accused of the murder. But there is an unexpected connection between Molly and the author, and I just thought it was interesting. I was a little bit fearful that we weren't going to have a real connection to the grandmother in the story, but we did, and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars, and it was just a fun time. And I like being in her head, so I would recommend the audiobook because I feel like it puts it in your head. And it was not set in a school, but it is a blue cover, and there's no animal on the cover, so I got a couple of bonus points, but I had a really, really fun time. And then the next book that I read was another book of a little bit of a disappointment, and that is Stars and Smoke by Mary Lou. This was a very like interesting story. It was really unique, but I just didn't feel that connected to anyone, and it was a bit of a bummer. I want to read book 2. I'm going to try to listen to book 2 because, again, what I'm learning is I really like to listen to romances and thrillers, and it's just when I read them physically, they're not quick pace enough, or it's not the quick pace I like to read when I'm physically reading. So you basically follow a character named Winter Young, and he's like a pop star, but he has to wind up going undercover and basically being a spy for this organization, and his handler is a young girl Okay, what is her name? Oh my God. Sydney, who is basically like his bodyguard to like kind of help him with the spying elements, and it was fun. I just didn't feel that connected, and I felt like the end of the story like was a little bit lackluster, but I read it, I gave it 3 stars. It just didn't, it wasn't what I was hoping. Like, I like the uniqueness of it, I just didn't feel that connected to the characters. So yeah, this one was only a 3-star read. And then I wound up picking up Royal Scandal by Amy Carter. I'm on a blog tour for this. 5 stars. I love this book. Here is your photo. I love this book so, so much. And I think what I liked about this book that was a little bit different than Royal, like Stars and Smoke, is I felt connected to those characters, because you had a book one that was very, very small potatoes. Like, it was a mystery. We had mystery elements to that story, but this story was a more of an action thriller on a bigger scale, and I liked it. I thought it was really, really captivating. There was a lot of twists and turns in this story that I did not see coming, and I'm so excited for book 3. It really gave me American Royal vibes, but like on a much more intense scale. This book was like everything I wanted. The romance was still there. It was just a very more like action adventure story, but again, I felt connected to the characters, and I sometimes struggle with that. This one really, really worked. It gave 5 stars. If you like were interested in the Harry and Meghan dynamic, or you're interested in like how the royal family works, I think Amy Carter did a really, really good job. 5 stars. Really, really fun. And then I just finished these 2 books. I'm going to talk about them quickly. I finished Four Weddings and a Puppy by Lindsay Shane. I got this book from Comic-Con when the author publicist, I think, was walking around. And this is the 4th book in the Pine Hollow series. I read 12 Dogs for Christmas a while ago, and I think the covers have changed dramatically, because now it's like all like these covers. But I had a fun time. It basically follows this character named Kendall. She works at her family's ski resort, and her former friend named Brody comes back, and he's like an Olympic skier, but things are not going well for him, and he kind of has to team up to help Kendall kind of renovate this venue for his sister's wedding, because her venue burned down, and there's a cute puppy involved, and I had a fun time. Gave it 4 stars, and really excited to go back and read the other books in the series, because I've had a fun time with both. And then, just from Peace Love Books will be so proud of me, I read The Search by Nora Roberts. I just finished it today when I was wandering around the city, and I gave it 4 stars. So I will attach a photo here. I sometimes struggle with Nora Robert, because I sometimes think that like, unless I'm super interested in like the element that like she's researching, like this book is all about dog rescues and like dog searching and, you know, canine units. I love that. That's so fascinating to me. She also had a business training dogs and clients. That was super interesting. She'd also been left for dead by a serial killer. So this book was perfect for me. I gave it 4 stars. I've read other books by Nora Roberts where like other stuff, the side plot really took me a little bit to get used to, or I was rushing to finish it. This book I like was rushing a little bit to finish it, but I had a fun time. Basically, she's a dog handler. She works with canines, but she is a former victim of a serial killer, and that serial killer comes back, and she has to work with a new guy who has a puppy that is not behaving, and things kind of go from there. But I liked it. I gave it 4 stars. So yeah, now let's get into the stats, which I didn't do at the start of the video, but again, forgive me, my brain is a bit chaotic right now. And I hope to have a much better reading month at the end of the month, but can't control fate, friends. Okay, in March I read 6 books. I read 2,247 pages. Average page count per day was 72. Definitely is a little bit lower than normal. My average page count was 374, which just means I've been reading bigger books, which is not actually exactly bad. YA Contemporary is actually my biggest one, because I think I counted this as a contemporary, which is good for me. I read 2 books of rep and 6 authors I've read before. I had 2 5-star ratings, 3 4-star ratings, and 1 3-star rating for an average rating of 4.7. So, sorry, 4.17. I had 3 new releases. I had, oh god, no, I'm like all mixed up in my thing. I had 3 new releases, 1 backlist, and 2 from last year. I had 3 physical, 2 audiobooks, and 1 ebook, which I never read ebooks, so more power to me. And then I think I started 1 series, but it says I didn't. I continued in 3, I completed 1, I caught up in 2, and I read 1 standalone. And then I read 2 arcs, 2 on NetGalley, 1 owned and 1 on Everand. I read 1 fantasy romance, 2 YA contemporary, 2 mystery, and 1 romance. And yeah, that is my general breakdown. So let me know in the comments what was your favorite book of the month. If I had to choose, I would probably say Royal Scandal and The Mystery Guest, just kind of going off of vibes alone. Let me know in the comments what you really loved, and I will talk to you guys soon for another video. Bye.